I see an email and.
Okay, good morning. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, testing. Good. Awesome. Thank you.
Does this interfere for you at all? Are you good?
Hey, what's up?
Oh, I didn't know if it would be possible if I was just seeing if your live view was turned on for this DeKalb thing.
Of course, yeah.
Well, thank you. You're so on top of it. ABC was wondering. So thanks, sir.
Yeah, Andrew has it now, so it should be good.
That's why you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you guys for coming. I'm Yvette Jones, Director of Communications. The DA will be down in just a second. Good morning.
Good morning. Just want to make sure she didn't knock this down. I have
Yep.
any tape. You have any tape?
Just got a call from one of your colleagues who's trying to get in the building. So give us just a couple minutes and we'll be.
Because I know she's going to knock this down. I just need to tape it so it won't fall back. So.
And how many of you parked in the parking deck? Anybody?
I'm parked in the front. They gave me a ticket last time. Let me get. Well, we don't know that. We usually have to park out the front, so.
Okay. If you're not in your big truck that will prohibit you from seeing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They gave me a ticket.
A little slightly out of my control, but we're.
That's what we used to park at in the front. We've always done that. Now they put tickets on our vehicles.
Okay, let me have our investigative.
Yeah, because, yeah, that's why we always have parked. And what they would do is send us a bill for it, and then, but now they put tickets on our vehicles.
Thank you for letting me know that.
Also, that I don't like glass. I have makeup in my bag. I have to go back to my car. Kind of inconvenient when you're running late, so.
Duly noted, duly noted. Thank you. Okay, so the game plan will be, all of our partners who are part of this initiative will come in and sit here, and then VA will be up front with a couple of our team members who help us all bring the latest developments. So give us just a second.
No problem. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Oh. There we go.
Yeah, the partners will be here if you don't mind.
Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot it was there.
I'm luckily sending it back, so we should be able to get a sign, hopefully. That's it.
Good morning. I'm Sherry Boston, DeKalb County District Attorney. Thank you so much for joining us. I am here today to announce a break in a homicide cold case dating back nearly 30 years and to share an exciting new collaboration in the effort to solve cold cases in DeKalb County. On September 16, 1993, the remains of a woman were found in a wooded area behind the Fairfield Inn, now the Quality Inn North Lake, and a vacant medical office near Ranchwood Drive and Parkland Drive in the Tucker area. The body was found behind an electrical unit covered in pine straw and branches, which appeared to have been deliberately placed in an effort to conceal the body. The remains were in an advanced state of decomposition. After an autopsy, the DeKalb County Medical Examiner's Office concluded that the remains likely belonged to a Caucasian woman between the ages of 35 and 40. It was estimated that the woman had been deceased between 2 weeks and 3 months prior to being found. She had sustained traumatic injury to the facial area as well as a neck fracture that may indicate pressure had been applied to the neck. The cause of death is suspected to be blunt force trauma. No identification was found near the body. However, the victim had extensive dental work, including gold caps, gold teeth, and a gold bridge, as well as wisdom teeth that had been removed. A left hip replacement could have caused the victim to also have an unusual gait. Despite law enforcement efforts at the time, the woman found on September 16, 1993, was never identified, and her case ran cold. Today, nearly 30 years later, I am grateful to share that our victim has been identified as Becky Burke, a 15-year-old woman who was last known to reside in Cobb County in the Marietta or Smyrna area. Becky was identified through DNA testing funded as a part of a collaboration between the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, NamUs, and Othram, and linked to a family member. She was ultimately identified through an emerging investigative technique called forensic genetic genealogy, or FIG, that combines technological advancements in DNA analysis and searching with traditional genealogy research. FIG is a unique investigative method that can generate leads to identify unknown suspects and helped identify the remains of homicide victims where traditional law enforcement ID methods have failed. FIG was first used to identify the Golden State Killer in 2018 and has since been utilized to solve over 600 cases and bring justice to numerous victims of violent crime, such as rape and murder. We can finally put a name and a face with this rendering. But the work doesn't end here. Exactly what happened to Becky Burke? We are currently seeking the public's assistance. Do you know Becky Burke? Or did you interact with her in the days and months leading up to her death in the summer or early fall of 1993? Are you familiar with either the Fairfield Inn at that time, now known as the Quality Inn of North Lake, or the medical office that was vacant in the area of Ranchwood Drive and Parkland Drive in Tucker? Do you know anyone that might have worked or spent time at the Fairfield Inn during the summer and early fall of 1993? We are asking anyone who may have known or interacted with Miss Burke around the time of her death to please call our cold case tip line, and you can remain anonymous. That number is 404-371-2444. So exactly how did we get here today? And how does identifying Becky relate to our larger mission of solving cold cases in DeKalb County? Last July, we invited you to share that we had identified the remains of William Deshaun Hamilton and indicted his mother in that homicide. William, only 6 years old at the time of his death, was found near a church cemetery in Decatur 24 years ago in a case that captured the attention of hearts of many in our community as well as nationally. Working alongside several of our partners who are here with us today to identify William and solve his murder had us all asking, how could we ensure justice and closure for more cold case victims? This desire led to the formation of the DeKalb County Cold Case Task Force, a coalition consisting of staff from the DA's office, the DeKalb County Medical Examiner's Office, the FBI, the GBI, the DeKalb County Police Department, and a private lab partner, Innovative Forensic Investigations. It is this team that worked with NAMUS and Othram to identify our cold case victim, Becky Burke, and continues to work diligently to solve her murder. Cold case work takes determination, timing, and funding. And today, I'm pleased to announce that the DeKalb County District Attorney's Office has been awarded a 3-year Missing and Unidentified Human Remains Program grant in the amount of $500,000 to identify the remains of 27 individuals found in DeKalb County. The funding provided by the U.S. Department of Justice, the Office of Justice Programs, and the Bureau of Justice Assistance is intended for use in improving the reporting, transportation, processing, and identification of missing persons and unidentified human remains. Our office is one of only 6 entities nationally to receive a grant through the Missing and Unidentified Human Remains Program, and we are the only prosecutor's office to receive this award. The task force will use these funds to catalog, report, test, identify, and return to the families the unidentified remains of 27 individuals, including Becky Burke. To date, some remains have been housed at the DeKalb County Medical Examiner's Office. Others have been buried and will be exhumed to begin the process of identification. This work is truly a collaboration, and I'd like to recognize my team and our partners in this newly formed task force. From the DA's office, we have Director of Major Crimes, Lance Cross, Deputy Chief Assistant District Attorney, Shannon Hodder, Supervising Investigator, Matt McClendon, and our Grants Director, Ross Harris. The DeKalb County Medical Examiner's Office, under the leadership of Director Pat Bailey, the GBI, under the leadership of Director Michael Register, who could not be here with us today, the FBI, the DeKalb County Police Department, and our private lab partner, Innovative Forensics Investigations. At this time, I'd like to invite Director Pat Bailey with the DeKalb County Medical Examiner's Office to offer his remarks before answering any questions.
Thank you, Madam District Attorney. Again, my name is Patrick Bailey, the Director with the DeKalb County Medical Examiner's Office. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you, Madam DA, and your team with the DA's office, along with stakeholders with the state, the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, the FBI, and many private partners, and this collaborative effort. We couldn't do it by ourselves. We're a small entity with a big footprint, but when people show vested interest in this and they put, their efforts with staffing and whatnot, it is a huge deal. And yet again, the results of that is now we have a name for Rebecca. So that is a big deal. For a family who's noticed that she went missing, didn't have a clue as to what happened to her, we can now start providing those answers to families. I'd like to take a moment to express our thanks to those individuals 30 years ago when I was a baby officer, so to speak, who laid the foundation for the work that we did today. Their exhaustive efforts working the scene, running down viable leads at that time, and of course science progresses and evolves. They laid the foundation for what we were able to pick up the ball and do with today. So thank you for those efforts, and thank you, Madam DA, for the work we're doing here today. Any questions?
Did you say she was 15?
52.
52.
She was 52, 52. So thank you, Director Bailey, and please be on the lookout for more information that we'll be sharing later about a missing persons event that our task force will be hosting and DNA drive on Saturday, May 20th. As the date gets closer, that will be an event for those persons that are interested in locating missing family members. We look forward to finding justice for Becky Burke and working together with our partners to bring closure to the community and the loved ones of these 27 still unidentified individuals. Thank you. At this time, I'm happy to take any questions.
What does a DNA drive look like?
Well, this is going to be an opportunity for us, first and foremost. This is a new venture, but we will be bringing people out who will have an opportunity to discuss whom they're missing, or persons that they believe went missing in DeKalb, share information with us, and have an opportunity to submit DNA if in fact they believe that it's possible that one of these 27 individuals could be a family member that they know has gone missing.
So when we say DNA, we're talking like they're donating blood, or like what is that donation?
Go ahead.
And so it's not that painful or that traumatic. It's more or less a buccal swab. Small Q-tip. We kind of swab and let you kind of do it to have fun with it, and then we submit it, package it up to be sent to a private lab. So it's nothing where we want to draw blood or anything like that. It's more or less so we inform you on the process. We take that specimen, package it up right there in front of you, and then we send it off to a private lab and try to keep you informed of the process.
Just to clarify, there are already 27 individuals who've been identified, and now you're just trying to, or 27 individuals who are missing, and now you're just trying to match who these people are with potential relatives. Is that correct?
Correct. They are unidentified. We don't know who they are. So we are trying to match them. And DNA and genetic analysis is a new procedure that we can use to link someone to a specific family.
I was here last year for the Deshawn case, and so I guess since that was kind of like the first end of the picnic to kind of start the ball rolling for this, how long did it take for you guys to identify her in that time period, I guess, once y'all kind of realized, okay, we can use this for other cases? I'm guessing it didn't take all year, right?
No, I mean, obviously, writing for the grant, I mean, working on the Deshawn Hamilton case was, for our office, just really thoughtful and justice-minded work that we wanted to continue. And of course, working with our partners, we understood that we had 27 other identified persons. And we are always looking for, obviously, this can't be done without money, because a lot of this work, obviously all of the testing, requires the use of private labs. And so getting this grant really was the impetus to be able to do that work. And, you know, Senior Assistant Shannon Hodder had this case kind of at the top of her list because we had some leads that would allow us to go in that direction. And of course, getting the money and being able to do the testing allowed us to kind of confirm.
So I guess time frame wise, especially if you're going to have this DNA drive, what are you looking at in terms of maybe having some answers for folks? Once you get that DNA and kind of run it through the system, do y'all have kind of, is it like months, weeks?
I'd say it depends. I mean, nothing is as simple as it ever seems. DNA is just one piece of the picture or puzzle. It could give us a lead as to, I likened it to, we all are super familiar now with Ancestry and 23andMe, and the idea that you can use DNA to reunite families and find distant people that you did not know you were related to, including some celebrity or, president from 70 years ago, right? That's exciting and interesting. That's a lot of what this work is going to help us to do. But now we're actually going to be able to lend closure and justice to families who have someone that went missing and they don't know, they assume that person is now deceased, but haven't had closure.
When you said Beck was found, did you say that her teeth have been removed?
No, her wisdom teeth were removed. That was a part of her dental records. That was not a part of the crime.
And I can't remember if you said you talked with
Right. Well, I'll actually call up Shannon Hodder to discuss that. She's had extensive talks with the family, and I'll let her share that information.
So the family has been spoken with, and of course, there was some measure of relief in knowing some of the answers to the questions they had about their loved one. But I don't think it's fair to say that they feel like they have closure at this time. Obviously, they've learned that they lost a loved one, and that she had a very violent death. And so they're looking forward to us continuing to pursue all the leads and hoping to give them more answers to what happened to their loved one.
Was there a missing persons report filed on Becky?
There was not. And let me just clarify, because we talk about having 27 bodies, and Shannon brings up a really good point. 13 of those 27 are considered to be homicides, 1 an accident, 1 a suicide, and 12 undetermined. So this is a multi-layered process. I mean, identification in these cases is perhaps the first step. Reuniting families with the remains is another step, right? But ultimately, as you can see, a number of these cases are considered homicide deaths. And so getting the opportunity to first identify, which then allows us to then put out these types of bulletins and calls for information that will hopefully lead to us being able to hold someone accountable for her death in this case. But many times we can't hold anyone accountable if we can't put a name to the victim and then get an opportunity to have the public say, I knew Becky Burke, or I knew that location, or I have information about what might have happened to her 30 years ago.
Why was it not possible to be able to solve the case until now? What was the challenge?
Identifying her. As we stated, with many of these cases, the reason they're cold and the reason that the person can't be identified is oftentimes the remains are found in a decomposed state. And in this case, the remains were decomposed. There was no identification on the body, a license or anything that could identify that body. And of course, if the person doesn't have their fingerprints in a system, then they are unidentifiable. And if you don't have someone that maybe perhaps is looking for you in that specific place, not everybody that we find is someone that lives in that community. It's like a needle in a haystack sometimes when people go missing, because they can go missing anywhere but be from some other locale or location.
Do you feel like the killer knew how to do this? Like something?
We can't even begin to speculate that.
I'm curious, in relation to this case specifically, you mentioned you've been in contact with the family. Once there was an idea that these remains may have matched her identity, was there a point where you had to go back and get more DNA from the family recently in order to help identify her? Is that what
Yes, that was a part of the process. The family helped us in determining that this was, in fact, their loved one, Becky Burke. So they were willing participants to give us DNA swabs that allowed us to make that connection.
So there was nothing already that they'd given you to help?
No.
Of the 27 unidentified, how far back do those cases date?
As far back as 1987.
And what's the most recent?
The most recent would be 2020. To go back and check specifically, but 2020 would be the most recent.
All right. Well, if there are no other questions, thank you so much for your time today. And we look forward to giving you more updated information as we continue the work. Thank you so much.